Hiya, my name is Darragh Tibbs, I'm the Queen's Radio Head of Tech. Welcome back to the second video in this short series on how to make podcasts and radio programs from your house during quarantine. In the last video, we talked about how to use Zoom to make your radio program. This time, we're talking about using Audacity, a free software downloaded from the internet to make a show that includes a lot of different types of content, be that music or recorded voiceover, pre-recorded interviews. Using Audacity, you can combine all these things together to give your show variation. For this example, I'm going to be making a short show that has 4 parts. It has an opening jingle, it has a recorded voiceover as an intro, it has a piece of music to be played, and then there is a Zoom interview to be added in at the end. So let's get started. The first thing that you need to do is head online and download Audacity from the website audacityteam.org. The link is in the description if you want to do it. This software is completely free and it is available for any platform. Once you download it, you want to open up Audacity and you'll be presented with this screen. This is the standard interface for Audacity. There's only one thing you need to do to make sure you're all set up to get started, and that is make sure your audio is coming out of the right place. Up here in the top bar, you have a speaker icon. In the drop-down menu beside that, you'll see lots of different devices. This is what is going to be playing out your audio. So might that be your speakers or an audio interface? For this, I'm using an interface called Tutorial Audio. Now we're ready to start putting in the content into our radio show. I have a folder on my desktop called QR Audacity Tutorial. The first thing we want to do is get my introductory jingle. So you just grab it here and drag it into the software. This box here is called a track. So let's have a listen to make sure this is working right, and then we can do the next part. Okay, great. That is my introductory jingle. Okay, so now I want to record a short voiceover introduction welcoming people to my podcast. The way to do that is you go up to the top bar, click on Tracks, Add New, and Mono Track. That'll bring up this new track underneath. Now, we need to check that we're recording from the right source. So you want to go up here to this little icon of a microphone and choose the drop-down menu. That'll bring up all of the different recording devices you can. Likely ones might be your computer's inbuilt microphone. It might be the microphone on your headphones. It might be a USB microphone. If you go back to the first video, you'll see all the different ways that I would recommend you trying to record your audio. For now, I'm going to use my audio interface, which is called UMC 1820. Before we start recording, I just want to make sure that you can actually hear my voice okay. So up here, you click to start monitoring, and you see there that the green bar starts to jump. That means that it's hearing my voice and I'm ready to record. I'm just going to listen through to my jingle to see when it is I want to start recording. Okay, I have quite a nice fade out that starts here just from about 8 seconds. So I'm going to select my cursor on my empty audio track to there. That line there is where the audio is going to start recording when we press the big red button. I'm now going to record really quickly my introduction. Hello and welcome to my music podcast. We're going to be listening to a song by a band called Red House, and then we're going to have an interview guest who this week will be Samuel Robinson from Queen's Radio to talk about why he's not really that big a fan of my song. Okay, that is my quick introduction. It's not that good, but it'll do for the purposes of this demonstration. The first thing I notice is that there's lots of audio here at the start, you can see from this blue line, that doesn't have anything in it. So what I'm going to do is highlight this and then just press backspace on my keyboard to get rid of that. There's also the same at the end, so I'm going to do this. But now what's happened is my audio has jumped to the very start. So the way to move audio around in Audacity is by double clicking it and then pressing Command and X on your keyboard. Or you can go into Edit and Cut. This makes it disappear, so then I want to select where I want to put it, which is between 8 and 9 seconds here. And then I press Command and V, or I go into Edit and Paste, and that'll put my audio in the right place. So now you can hear when we play back. Hello and welcome to my music podcast. We're going to be listening to a song by a band called Red House, and then we're going to have an interview guest who this week will be Samuel Robinson from Okay, that's pretty good, but I think the music is a little bit too loud and the voice is a little bit too quiet. Up here on the left, we have sliders between minus and plus. If I pull it towards the minus, that'll make my music quieter on the track that says intro music, and it'll make my voiceover louder if I slide this to the right. So now when we do it, it sounds a little bit more balanced. Hello and welcome to my music podcast. We're going to be listening to a song by a band called Red House, and then we're going to have an interview. Okay, great. So now what we've got is we've dragged in my jingle and I've recorded my voiceover. Next thing to do on our list is to add in the music. So I'll go back into my folder where I've got all of the pieces of audio for this. The song is called I Had You Live, and I'm now going to drag this into Audacity. So our song has dropped into Audacity just fine, but it has dropped into the very start, which means if we clicked into our intro, the song is playing over my voice, and so you can't really hear me. Hello and welcome to my music podcast. So just the way we did with the voiceover when we needed to move it around, we want to double click on the song, edit and cut, and then select where we want it to start. So in here, this is the end of my vocal. Why, he's not really that big a fan of my song. So that's the end of my voiceover, and then from here, I'm gonna click edit and paste to put the song back in the right place. And now you can see it goes from my voiceover to the song smoothly. Fan of my song. Okay, great. So the final thing we need to do then is drop in the Zoom interview I did about this song with Sam earlier. So I go back into my folder for the last time and go into the folder that I've called Zoom interview. Okay, so now we're going to drag in the audio only portion of our Zoom call recording. Drag it over to Audacity, and you'll see that it says that this is an advanced audio coding file and we have to convert it before you do this. Now there's lots of ways you can convert it. You can use iTunes, you can use Windows Media Player, you can use a software called VLC. If any of these are familiar to you, go ahead with them. There's also a way to do it online, so I'm going to do that because that's the one that everybody can access easily. So just search online audio converter and go to onlineaudioconverter.com. We're going to click open files, and that'll let you look through your computer to find the file you look for, this audio only here. I'm going to convert to MP3 because that's easier to work with, and I'm going to go to good quality. Then you click convert, and you can download the file, and it works super quickly. I'm just going to quickly drag this file into my folder so I don't lose it. Okay, so now I have downloaded my converted file, and you can see, and I've put it into my Zoom interview folder. Now I should be able to drag it across to Audacity, and it'll drop in just like that. Great. So just as we've done twice before already, you want to double click, edit, cut, and then select where you would like your audio to go. For me, it's going to be just at the end of this song. Just there, and that is when we're going to start the conversation about what Sam thinks of the song. So click edit and paste, and there is our interview. Let's just have a listen through to make sure that transition works well. Okay, Sam, thank you very much for joining us on the this episode of Terrible Local Music Podcast. You've just been sent the song I Had You, the live. Okay, great. So just going to bring that volume level up a little bit so it feels natural. Okay, Sam, thank you very much for... And there we have it. That is our whole show. We go jingle, intro, music, and Zoom interview. All we need to do now is save our show. So we go up to File, export and export as MP3 or WAV. WAV is a slightly bigger file, but it's slightly higher quality. MP3 is smaller. So if you've got space, use a WAV. I'm going to call it Terrible Music Podcast. And I'm going to save it in my folder, QR Audacity Tutorial. Click Save. Your tracks will be mixed down and exported into one stereo file. That's exactly what we want. Click OK. You can fill this in if you want, but you don't need to. And now, if we go into the folder, we have terriblemusicpodcast.wav, and the whole thing is saved as one file. Version of I Had the True Band. The show on this episode of I Hate Live Music. Great. So that is it. You have made a podcast including lots of different types of audio, and they've bounced it all down into one file ready to upload to Mixcloud, to Spotify, to wherever else you want to share your material. Thank you so much for watching this video on using Audacity. I hope it was clear enough. If you still have any issues, please come to my workshop, which is happening on Friday, the 5th of February, where we can talk about how to use Audacity to make your shows. We also might talk about some mixing and some more in-depth things you can do in Audacity to squeeze the very best sound out of your podcast. But for now, if you need me or any of the Queen's Radio Tech team, email us tech@queensradio.org. And until next time, happy podcasting.